Hey guys, USL's Kelsey Steele here. The last time you saw me, Scott and I were unveiling the 2020 USL eCup Rocket League Edition draw. Well, we're a week into the tournament, and there are some obvious front runners. So today, I thought I'd chat with one of our current front runners who just so happens to have a history of success on the pitch. I've got Phoenix Rising's Joey Farrell here with me to talk a little eCup action. Joey, how are you doing?
Hi, Kelsey. Thanks for having me. I'm doing great. Quarantined over here in Phoenix a little bit, but we're keeping the mind sharp, keeping the thumb sharp, and trying to keep the body sharp as well.
I know it's been a strange and difficult time for the entire world. How are you keeping yourself busy? Are you still in Phoenix?
Yeah. So I'm still up in Phoenix. Right now I'm currently sitting on my porch, and this has been my home gym for the last 2 weeks, doing a lot of core work. I got a nice yoga mat, some bands, some light weights. But yeah, it's been a lot of that, a lot of stay-at-home core work, go out for some jogs here and there. The quarantine hasn't hit too bad in this part until just recent. I know my family on the East Coast has had a little different of a time. My sister in Manhattan in particular, but they're all healthy. They're just cooped up. My sister actually she escaped New York City a little bit. She rented a house in South Jersey just so her kids can get out and get some fresh air rather than being quarantined in an apartment in the city. So yeah, family's all healthy though, and I'm doing well out here as well.
It's great to hear that you guys are all good, and definitely thinking of your sister and everyone over in New York. I know that's such a tough situation, and glad she's kind of able to get away from it as much as possible and kind of make life as normal as possible.
Absolutely.
I mean, obviously, with no play happening on the field right now, we as a league were like, okay, we have to improvise in some way. Like, you can tell everyone's kind of dying for that competitive nature to come back. So that's how USL eCup came to life for us. But I'm curious, how did you first hear about the eTournament?
So I heard about the e-tournament through our player group chat, actually. So Jordan Schweitzer must have heard from one of the media guys that the tournament was going to happen, and he put in the group chat just if anyone played at all. And I actually played a little bit back in my my Rochester days. Rocket League was one of the time killers up there. So I played a little in my college days too, but I hadn't played for probably 3 or 4 years, and it just so happened maybe a week before that message happened, I played for the first time in probably 3 years, just out of the blue, like out of boredom. And I was like, let's see what this game's still got.
Who's your weasel in the USL office then? Come on.
Yeah.
That's too ironic.
So yeah, it was really, the irony was insane, but I knew I had some skill, but hopefully I can keep hold of my own and keep Phoenix Rising where they're supposed to be.
So once that kind of circled around, you automatically just nominated yourself. You're like,
yeah, I threw myself in the mix right away. I'm never shy to put myself out there, so I went for it.
So obviously you've played before, which is a huge advantage compared to most people who are in the tournament. What are some things that you've had to learn along the way? What, like, going into it, what did you kind of already know that you needed to have?
Well, it's definitely a unique game in that it's honestly like nothing I've ever played. Can't even think of anything close, honestly. But I know that there are some tricks and tips that are very helpful. I know one in particular is you have to make sure you use your boost sparingly, and that you're always picking up more boost, because it's, especially in the one-on-one in Rocket League, it's all about either the fast break and like capitalizing on someone's mistake, or it's about being patient and waiting for your moment to then boost and beat your opponent one-on-one. So the boosts in the game are incredibly important. So I always try and go for the big ones as much and as frequent as I can, just so I always have that 100 stock. But the patience is also a big one. Along with boost, being able to be patient, and I'm not too great at the aerials yet, although I've watched some of the other games and they're very impressive. So I try and be more patient and more of the ground game and just kind of the speed game.
And I know a lot of people were like, oh, is it going to be 1v1? Is it going to be
Mhm.
3v3? And a lot of people were kind of disappointed about it being, 1v1. What are the main differences there? Obviously, more people playing at one time, but were there things that you had to do differently doing
Yeah,
1v1?
absolutely. In particular, I can think of is the tip-off. The tip-off is crucial in 1v1 because the game starts and you can go flying all the way down to the other goal if you miss the ball and you just leave your net wide open. So the tip-offs are crucial. You have to make sure your timing on it's right, and that's a little different than the 2v2 or 3v3 game because you always have that cover behind you if you do have your partners. Another difference is in the 2v2 and 3v3, there's a little bit more crossing. So like you kind of like someone can take a run and kind of just like throw their body at the ball in the corner and then cross it, like send it up the wall and across the goal, and then the other person comes flying in from like half. This one you got to stay under control and kind of keep your car in control and be able to dribble a little bit more than the other game, than the multiplayer game. But it's unique in its own right, and it's definitely an interesting challenge.
Being 1v1, having just playing yourself, you have a bit of support system. I've seen Santi Mora on social. I mean,
Yeah.
you have your own hype man on site.
So yeah, so
He's been hilarious.
Santi's my roommate, a great guy and definitely a great hype man. He was willing to, if you guys weren't going to stream it, he was going to stream it himself. So yeah, Santi's a great guy. We get along perfectly. So it's nice to have that moral support. Someone in my corner, very close to me. So
I love that. 40 seconds in, it's all it took for you to get your first goal in the USL eCup. Take me through that moment for you where you finally got that. Yeah, that I want that firsthand recollection.
So it was crazy. If you go back and watch the game, on the very first tip off, I go flying nowhere even near the ball. Like I completely whipped. It was embarrassing. But then I raced back to my goal. Get there, and then I finally get a little counterattack and start the game off 1-0. And from there, my confidence skyrocketed. So that was huge for the ego, huge for the morale. And I don't know, I don't think you guys aired it, but I know Jose had it and also played a few clips. But I had my headset in for the Phoenix Rising Twitch account, and I was talking some trash. So my confidence was through the roof, especially at sitting at 2-0, 3-0. I was feeling good, feeling myself a little bit. But it's all the competitive nature. It's all the competitive nature. It's all in good fun. So
you got a lot built up at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
Have a release. I mean, you picked that win over San Diego, 7-3, 6-1, so 2-0 overall. You're tied for the lead in Group 3 with 3 points. What are your biggest takeaways from Week 1 play?
Well, Week 1, watching around the league as well as in our group, some of the biggest takeaways I had were probably to work on my aerial game because I saw some matches. I tuned into Tucson's game a little bit. I tuned into Tacoma's game, and I saw some pretty ridiculous goals. So I'm gonna work on my aerial game just a little bit. I'm gonna stick to who I am, and that's a speed game on the ground. But it'll be nice to have that in my locker. Yeah, in my locker, just in case I need it.
I love it. Well, we cannot wait to see what you bring out in Week 2. I'm gonna have to get with Jose because I have to see that Twitch stream. See what you're dishing out over there. But I mean, Joey, I think a really cool part of this entire tournament is the charitable causes that are tied to it. So every team's representing a local charity, which is awesome. That's most of them are directly dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic. And for Phoenix Rising, you guys are representing the Arizona COVID-19 Community Response Fund. So what does that mean to you that you're able to play a part in this whole thing?
Well, it's amazing, especially at this time in our world, in our country. There's not much you can do for others in sense of like an actual helping hand, right? Social distancing is recommended, and it's a great practice because of how contagious this illness is. So not being able to go over to your neighbor's house and help them carry in their groceries or something along those lines because you want to social distance yourself. Being able to do so playing video games and be able to raise money for such a dramatic cause and such a unique and honestly life-saving cause is awesome. So I'm really glad that I get to help out and share some of my kindness through the comfort of my living room in this time of the COVID-19. And being able to raise money for COVID-19 responders in Arizona is amazing because they're really the first responders right now, and the medical staff and everyone, they're the ones saving our country. And they're the ones for the next month or so putting themselves at risk, putting their family at risk just because it's their job, right? So me being an athlete, I want to be able to use my competitive spirit for good and use my voice for good. So being able to play from the comfort of my home and being safe there, but as well as raise money and raise awareness and raise support for these responders, it's a great feeling.
Truly the unsung heroes of everything right now.
I saw a picture on social media because that's all we're doing these days.
Right.
Nothing but time kill. But it was a picture of kind of a resemblance of the Iwo Jima when all the U.S. military are raising the flag, but instead of military, it was like nurses. It was kind of the first practitioners. But it was pretty moving picture. And it was nurses, doctors, kind of all just kind of wearing the mask and raising the American flag back up. And I thought that was an incredible picture, worth 1,000 words.
I love that. Yeah, you also send that my way. And I think that's the biggest thing about the charitable side of things. You know, if sports can help bring people together and we can kind of bring some positivity and everything that's going on in the world right now, it's all that we can do.
Absolutely. And give people a little distraction, a little, it kind of brings you back to your normalness in life, being able to watch sports, even though it's esports, watch something on TV and root for your favorite team and root for your players and stuff like that. It gives you that normalcy, which everyone needs. So it's good.
We're going to see plenty more of you on the Keys next week as the USL eCup returns on ESPN3. You're going to face Toronto FC 2. Do I have any bold predictions?
Cool. Well, we're going to be on top. Score predictions. We're going to go, I think I'm going to win 5-2. And then we're going to have a lower scoring game. It's going to be about 4-1.
Okay, keeping you a little humble.
I'm saying in 2 games, I'm going to win them both. And it's going to be about 5-2, 4-1.
5-2, 4-1. You heard it here first, people.
Not lacking in confidence on this side.
I love it. Well, Joey, I really appreciate your time. Stay safe.
Absolutely.
Best of luck the entire tournament. And we're looking forward to seeing you guys return the pitch whenever that time does come.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Kelsey.
Thanks. Take care.
Yep, you too.